G'day legends, welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast. The team lists have just dropped for finals week 3. We're going to get stuck into them this afternoon. These podcasts getting shorter and sharper every single week, getting to the pointy end of the season. Super exciting. Just the 2 games this weekend. We've got the well-rested Melbourne Storm taking on the Sydney Roosters and the well-rested Penrith Panthers taking on the Cronulla Sharks this weekend. It is going to be an absolute cracker. Kathmandu, Friday night, who are we kicking off with? Where are we? What's doing? Talk to me.
Well, this one is down in Melbourne. Storm will be hosting the Roosters in what will be a fiery clash. Week 3 of finals. I can't believe we're here. 7:50 kickoff. Talk us through this Storm lineup.
Yeah, really looking forward to this one. I'll tell you what, if you're in Melbourne this weekend, you can go Friday night. Obviously, the NRL prelim final into the AFL grand final, which will be an absolute cracker as well. Sensational stuff. Let's go through Craig Bellamy's lineup for the prelim final. At fullback, Ryan Pappenhausen. On the wings, Will Rawbrick and Xavier Coates. In the centres, Jack Howarth and Nick Meaney. Cameron Munster at 5'8". Jerome Hughes in jersey 7. Nelson Asafa Solomono lines up in the front row with Josh King. Harry Grant coming off 3 tries 2 weeks ago, lining up at hooker. The left edge, Sean Bloor. The right edge, Eli Katoa. And you got Trent Leroux lining up in jersey 13. The bench for Craig Bellamy, Tyron Wishart, Christian Walsh, Tui Kamakamitha and Alec McDonald. A couple of guys on the extended there, but I'm not expecting any changes to this side. I think they'll run out as named. Suafalongo, probably the big name returning there, but I can't see him getting into this side. Obviously, Pappy will be at fullback, and I don't think they'll take Wishy off the bench. He's been too good this year. Let's have a look at Trent Robinson's lineup. At fullback, the skipper, James Tedesco, having an enormous year. Daniel Tupu on the left wing, Dom Young on the right. Joey Manu will be inside Dom Young at right centre. We'll have Suali'i at left centre as well. Luke Keary lines up at 5'8". Sandon Smith, a try scorer last week in jersey 7. Huge game for him this week. Jared Waria-Hargraves returns for game 2. He lines up in the front row with Lindsay Collins. Connor Watson, I thought he was fantastic last week, the hot pirate. He's in jersey 9. Angus Crichton on the left edge. Satili Tupanua on the right edge. And the inflictor, Victor Radley, lining up in jersey 13 as he did last week. The bench for the Sydney Roosters, Spencer Leniu, White, Butcher and Terrell May. What a bench it is. On their extended bench, guys, you've obviously got Wong. He falls back to the extended bench there. Outside of that, I'm not seeing any changes to that side, and I think Wong's long odds to come in anyway. So I think you'll see those 2 teams line up as they are. A couple of big matchups there, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the week. But in my opinion, you've got the 2 Dally M back rowers going head-to-head, Angus Crichton and Eli Katoa. I think that'll be a cracking matchup to watch. And you've potentially got the 2 favourites for the Dally M medal going head-to-head as well, Jerome Hughes and James Tedesco. So some very, very good matchups. Plenty to watch in that one. Let's move to the second game, Kathmandu. Saturday night, what have we got?
We're at Accor Stadium, the Penrith Panthers hosting the Sharks. Same kickoff time at 7:50 p.m. So your entertainment is sorted for Friday and Saturday night. Talk us through this Penrith side who have had a week of rest.
Obviously, birthday eve for me as well. Had a very big one.
Yeah,
I know
no,
the
birthday
entire
eve
country
eve.
will be preparing for the big day.
Birthday eve for you, birthday eve for me.
Birthday eve for you. I love that. Big few days coming up. Put it in your diaries, guys. Let's have a look at Ivan Cleary's lineup for the prelim final. Dylan Edwards lines up at fullback, the Ghost. On the wings, Taruva and Brian To'o. Isaac Tungu and Paul Alamotti line up in the centres. Jerome Luai at 5'8", playing potentially his last game for the Penrith Panthers. Nathan Cleary, the skipper, the best player in the world, in my opinion, lining up at halfback. Leota and Fisher Harris line up in the front row. The Bash brothers there. Another 2 guys could potentially be having their last ride together for the Panthers. And Mitch Kenny, Mr. Underrated, in jersey 9. The left edge, Luke Garner has been named there once again. We'll get to it soon, but Scotty Sorensen is on the extended bench. I think if Scotty is fit and available, he comes straight into this side. Liam Martin will line up on the right edge, and Isaiah Yeo in jersey 13. Ivan Cleary's bench, Brad Schneider in jersey 14. Lindsay Smith, Liam Henry, and Matty Eisenhuth join him there. On the extended bench, guys, obviously guys that are pretty relevant, Dane Laurie, Casey McLean, but I think the big one is Scotty Sorensen. As I said, if he is fit and available in this game, he will come in on the left edge, and I think you'll see Garner go back to the bench. Let's have a look at Craig Fitzgibbon's side. They got their first finals win under Fitzy last week. A huge moment for the Sharkies. They line up like this for finals week 3. Will Kennedy at fullback. On the wings, Sione Katoa and Mulatalo. In the centres, Jesse Raymond and Kale Ito. Braden Trindle, player of the week for me last week at 5'8". Nico Hines named in jersey 7. Toby Rudolph coming off probably the game of his career last week in the front row, partnering Oregon Korfusi and Blake Brayley. We talk about Mitch Kenny being Mr. Underrated. Blake Brayley might want to get into that conversation as well. Britton Nikora will line up on the right edge, Teague Wilton on the left edge, and Cam McInnes. He's been absolutely beaten to a pulp over the last few weeks, but he just keeps showing up, Cam McInnes, in jersey 13. The bench for the Sharkies, Sifa Talakai, Jack Williams, Royce the Choice Hunt, and Tommy Hazelton. Their extended bench have got Atkinson there. You could potentially see him come into jersey 14, but I think the Sharkies will run as they did last week, leaving Sifa Talakai there. Some cracking matchups here and plenty of storylines going into this game as well. Obviously, the Sharkies, they are the kings of having all the pressure in the world on their backs coming into finals footy. In this game, I don't think anyone is tipping them for an upset. I don't think anyone is expecting them to win here. It's the complete opposite to what the Sharkies are used to, and I kind of like that for them just quietly. But I do think this Penrith Panthers side, they will be too good. The emotion surrounding Jerome Luai, Fisher Harris, Taruva, it's going to mean a lot going into this final series. Guys, stay tuned. Over the next couple of days, we're going into real detail, all of our predictions and everything coming into this game, where we think both coaches will target, what will be on their clipboard this week. Stay tuned for those podcasts and all that content coming your way here on the Rugby League Guru Podcast.